Yo guys, it's EscapePoint here. I hope you've been good this week. This week went pretty well, so I'll just get straight into it. Last off we left the engine. It had logging and all the dependencies building. I alluded to the fact that I wanted a basic Vulkan renderer working. I didn't get that far this week because I wanted to hit something first, and that's events. The engine now can handle any keyboard and mouse event you throw at it. So, this is the current state of the game engine. As you can see, it's still got the white background just like last time, but we now have events. So if I move this guy over, bring this guy forward, this is the console window. It outputs errors, warnings, and other things that might be useful for me to know. As you can see, the 5 different validation errors that Vulkan have produced. I believe these have nothing to do with my game engine. They all seem to be related to the Epic Games suite of software, so I'm not sure if that's the Epic Game Launcher or something else. But these errors can be safely ignored. So if I bring the engine forward again, we can see the events. And as you can see, I'm printing events to the console. So for each mouse press, we can see a new output. Each number corresponds to a different mouse button. So the center one is 2, right is 1, and left is 0. We also have key button presses. That gets printed to the console too. So if I just press a bunch of keys, you'll see a bunch of output. So this is space, and various things like this, which is great. I also got Windows events working. So we have minimize, we have maximize, so minimize. And the good thing about this is the game stops updating. So if we were rendering anything, this would no longer be rendering. We have maximize, and we also can resize the window. Now as you can see, the background's gone black. This is because the render is incomplete. There needs to be more work done with the Vulkan renderer, because Vulkan has no idea the new size of the window, so it gets all confused. And finally we have the close window event, which we didn't have available last time. So if I press escape, the engine will close. As you can see, there's a new event, and the engine closed. So apart from events, I started to code the Vulkan renderer. I got as far as making the swap chain, which is how we're going to handle different buffers we're going to render. At a basic level, the swap chain is used to synchronize images with the refresh rate of the monitor. glove-w, the other dependency that we're working with, helped me set up the Vulkan surface, which Vulkan uses to communicate with the operating system. I also have a primitive way of selecting which physical device we're going to use to render with. I picked the GPU or device that can handle the most multi-sample anti-aliasing, and has all the Vulkan layers we need to render something. This of course is to try and select the most efficient and effective GPU to render, as laptops and other devices might have more than one GPU, so we want to pick the best one for the job. I've also set up the Vulkan logical device, which is part of the Vulkan API that actually talks to the hardware. Part of the logical device's responsibility is to help queue things up to be sent to the GPU. And of course I've set up the Vulkan instance to initialize everything to make all this possible. And as you saw earlier in the demo, I have Vulkan validation layers set up, so if I make a mistake when using Vulkan, I'll be able to see what I got wrong. There is still a lot more work needed to be done to render anything on the screen, which I'll hopefully talk about next week. As of right now, I'm just aiming to get Vulkan to work, so more work is needed to make it easier to use by abstracting away details and refactoring things that only need to be set up once. I hope you like this video. I tried to explain myself a little bit more than I usually do, so hopefully it makes for a better video than just listing things. Let me know what you prefer. Anyway, that's all for this week, so until next time.